Chapter 1. If there's nothing else that you get or take from reading or viewing this work, I want it to be the meme I've developed regarding cyber safety and social media. And that meme is simple. It's stop. Because all content is digital these days, and being digital, all content is searchable, traceable, oops, or oh my God, it's permanent. So before you IM, text, Skype, email, or post, especially if you're angry, tired, or perhaps under the influence, stop, let it rest, view the legendary disasters when someone posted before stopping on the right-hand column of this page, just below this video. So once again, if you take nothing else from this work, please remember my meme stop and use it, especially if you're angry, tired, or under the influence. In 1997, I had the privilege of covering one of the first United States Supreme Court's argument involving the Internet, and that involved the first version of the Communications Decency Act. The case is known as ACLU v. Reno. In that oral argument, I was truly impressed by the justices' questions and comments. Although none of them were particularly net savvy, a couple of them clearly grasped that the combination of the Internet, exponential increases in information and communication technologies, with digital content would change the landscape for both children and all of us forever. They chatted during the oral argument about when they were children, just like when I was. At that point in time, in the 50s, you could walk down the street with your friends and do the silly and dumb things that kids do. You could say the silly and dumb things that kids say. You could explore defining yourself, finding your identity, presenting yourself to others. Just what kids ought to be doing. And your speech, your expression, would be in analog sound waves, and it would float down the street and eventually extinguish itself. With digital content, however, and the global Internet and information technologies, and all of the tools available, one has to understand how this has changed things forever for all of us. Because digital content is at once alterable, searchable, traceable, and permanent. In other words, once you put something up on the Internet, whether it's a recording, whether it's oral, whether it's written, whether it's photographic by way of stills or video, others usually can alter it, can make copies of it, they can search it, they can find it, authorities can trace it, or others can trace it who are trying to track you down, and it is virtually permanent. It is almost impossible to remove something you've posted on the Internet, as it will exist on backup servers, it will be cached, and indeed, if you've ever visited the Wayback Machine, even prior versions of sites exist at different points in time. Therefore, you have to understand this critical new world of digital content being available globally through the Internet and web. Now, for those who are inclined to express themselves online, and I make no judgments about this whatsoever. Indeed, I think it's very important to express oneself online, but remembering that you are creating a alterable, searchable, traceable, and permanent digital footprint for the content you author. So be a good digital citizen and think and post thoughtful, intelligent content, the kind you'd want to read and the kind that you understand will be there forever, will forever follow you. Let's take some examples of some of the online disasters of individuals who, for lack of a better term, were not aware of the implications of their digital content on the globally available internet. There are 4 legendary examples. The first is the Star Wars Kid. This was a young person who, having fun, took a golf ball type retriever and did a kind of Jedi Star Wars action scene. Now, unfortunately, some of his so-called friends, who became, I guess, tormentors, found this video and uploaded it to a site on the internet. The video went viral, people downloaded it, they altered it, they made fun of the author of that content. He even became known as far as and appearing in TV episodes of Family Guy and South Park. Needless to say, he was mortified, humiliated, and ostracized, and this unfortunate event, which escaped like a bullet going into the future, which he could never get back, has followed him forever. He's known as the Star Wars Kid. You can see an example of it on the right-hand column below this video. As of December of 2012, it has well over 26 million views with just this particular version. Secondly, anyone who sexts online, whether they text a photo of themselves with clothing missing, or perhaps undress on Skype, where screenshots can be captured and video can be taken of the Skype screen, or stills can be taken of it, is immediately heading for trouble. First of all, we know that these images and videos tend to escape despite the professions of love and confidentiality that people trying to get you to sext always utter. Secondly, we're now told about 80% of these images end up on one or more porn sites on the internet. And with facial recognition becoming almost ubiquitous in the future, you can bet that if you've appeared, especially with your face, unclothed in some way online, it's going to be searchable, traceable, oops, or oh my God, it's permanent. So follow my meme and stop. You should never be sexting online. A third example is the infamous Duke PowerPoint. In that case, one evening, a person who had just graduated from Duke decided to create an elaborate 42-page PowerPoint about her sexual exploits while she was a Duke undergraduate. Needless to say, she made an error that evening when she sent it confidentially to just 3 friends. Was it funny? Well, it was hysterical to many. Not so funny to the men undergraduates who appeared in the PowerPoint. And needless to say, it has now become one of the most viewed PowerPoints ever. Below this video in the right-hand column, you can see one version of the PowerPoint on YouTube, and also the Today Show episode about this famous PowerPoint. It now follows this person forever throughout her life. A final example is the Asian rant. Another undergraduate, this time at UCLA, was in the library studying for exams. Certain people were talking in the library. She got frustrated, she was probably tired and angry. She went home and in a weak moment decided to video herself ranting about her views on talking in the library. She uploaded it to YouTube. It now has over 1.7 million views. She was humiliated, mortified, her family was threatened, they found her address, she was ostracized from her UCLA community, she dropped out. Again, that Asian rant will follow her for the rest of her life. In conclusion, I have to tell you, whether we like it or not, increasingly we are told college admissions officers and hiring personnel are checking online, are Googling you to determine and take a look at your digital footprint. We may not like this. I don't like it. In many instances, I think it is patently unfair. But it's becoming a way of life. and it could make the difference between a successful application for college or a job. As we all know, there's tremendous competition in these arenas. Therefore, if you take nothing else from the book, and the entire point of Chapter 1 is my meme for the digital world, stop before you IM, text, Skype, email, or post. Remember, what you're about to do is searchable, traceable, oops, oh my God, it's permanent. So before you post, take a deep breath, let it rest, and if you need to, come back to this page and view the legendary examples below this video. That should sober you up.